Good day. Lecture number 9. The Chief's Combat. Prelude. According to nature's laws, any material element, a stone, a flower, an animal, or a human, is by itself passive, inert, and powerless. It is same for any immaterial element, such as an intention, a thought, an impulsion, an excitement, an attraction, and a pleasure, by itself remain motionless and powerless. Consequently, any movement required the two active elements, a material element that responds to a vital need, and the immaterial element, the source of action by which the goal comes true. To simplify, let's say that without means, the goal is not feasible, while the means without goal remain as non-existent. 2. The activities used to realize a goal cease as soon as the goal is completed, but the means activities remain active as long as the goal is not yet performed. 3. All survival needs are created by nature. Nevertheless, by the power of his intellectual skills and his free choice, the primate can create false needs. These false needs are exclusively primate's creation. These realities will help the listener for a better lecture understanding. The primate behavior. To survive, primate and human respond to three vital needs: eating, protecting, and procreating. The first two needs, eating and protecting, imply directly the individual survival, while the third need, to procreate, compromises exclusively the survival of the species. Today we will be speaking of the first two vital needs, eating and protecting. Due to its subtlety and complexity, the third need, to procreate, will be elaborated on the next lecture. The feeling. When man feels hunger, the primate, material and helpless by nature, is affected by the immaterial influences coming from his two active sources of inspiration, his reason and his instinct. His reason says, "We must eat to live." His instinct replies, "Eating is a pleasure of life." Then the primate thinks, compares, forms opinion, and takes decision. If he chooses his reason's influence, "We must eat to live," he looks for food and eats. Once satisfied, the signal to eat the hunger disappears. Then he ceases to eat. If he prefers his instinct choice, eating is a pleasure of life. Then, to enjoy that pleasure, the primate must create false needs, a false appetite. Wherever the influence comes from, as soon he feels hunger, he looks for food, finds it, eats, and satisfies himself. Since he has created a false appetite as goal, while in fact the appetite is but a means, the false appetite, unsatisfied, excites him to continue to eat. The pleasure is always subordinated to goal, and as long as the goal is not completed, the meat's actions never cease. This false appetite, an exclusively primate creation, remain the responsibilities of whoever created it. Once he has created it, is he now willing to manage or to control it? Inclined toward his instinct, subjugated pleasure, has he the will to stop it? He continues to eat until his belly could take no more. Finally, overeating, he feels the devastating effects of overconsumption. He feels uneasy, his belly distended. He cannot eliminate the excess of food. He has stomachache, headache. He feels heavy, tired, and weak. With time, other symptoms, other pathologies come out as diabetes, obesity, bulimia, cardiovascular diseases, cirrhosis, and many more. Also, other pathologies come out from narcotics such as alcohol, tobacco, toximaniac drugs, and so forth. An adage says, nature does not forgive what has been done without it. Good to think too. Protection. Primate and human, by nature, has possessive and domineering characters. When aggression occurred, his reason guides and counsels him for fighting or fleeing. Once the aggression passed out, his reason counsels to go back to normal life. In the absence of aggression, his instinct remembers him that he's still an animal too, that he has possessive and domineering characters. Then, to enjoy passion of possessing and dominating, he must create a false need of protection. So, if somebody does something or says words that he cannot do or say himself, then he interprets what he sees and hears as an aggression. His mind made out the illusion that other intentionally impresses his superiority. Therefore, he thinks that if other shows his superiority, it is because he himself is inferior, and that constituted hostility that created a feeling of being threatened in his domineering ego. By overestimating himself, his possessive and domineering characters transformed the human in a fierce and violent competitor. Then he imagines that the best defense is the attack. Then, without any reason but his illusion, he attacks without warning. It happens that some people believe that what belongs to others in fact belongs to them. Then he looks forward to get it back by force and violence. He declared wars. Others enjoy an evil pleasure to threat those who surround him. So he created conflicts in order to satisfy his thirst of domination. This aggressiveness comes from his possessive and domineering characters, inherited from the animal instinct, and remains under control of whoever created the false need. Unfortunately, he might not be able or willing to stop it. Then this aggressiveness continues until he gets the insurance that his ego has written back to his superiority feeling. In daily life, sometimes these activities are transformed in unreasonable habits such as harassment, slavery, hatred, despotism, revenge, vandalism. To this list may be added the fancy searches and by all means to pile up, urge wealth and richness, even sometimes to the detriment of others. These habits are parts of the animal possessive inheritance. Conclusion: in time we live in, man passes through a transgeneration period or a turning point. From primate he was yesterday, he evolved, waiting tomorrow to be recognized as human. His physical evolution always goes ahead of his psychic maturity. By genealogy, the primate passes from mineral to vegetable, from vegetable to animal, and now he is passing out from animal to human. In this second millennium, still at the very beginning of his turning point, his life ratio is 90-10, what is 90% as primate and 10% as human. His psychic maturity gets late to his physical maturity. As evolution is concerned, his psychic maturity is still in his infancy. On a human life scale, he could hardly count the fingers of his right hand. To ease this transgeneration crossing time, self-knowledge will be his reliable guide and his sure mount that will lead him to freedom. Socrates said, "Know yourself, and you will know the universe and the gods." His transgeneration continues, slowly but surely. Thank you. Amen.